welcome to my channel, Miss Kyra Elise. My name is Kyra. I am an accelerated nursing student pursuing my BSN RN. I am just finished my first semester of nursing school. So this video is going to be a recap of my first semester of nursing school, and I am pretty excited to tell you guys about it. Just so you guys can know kind of what to expect. Of course, all nursing schools are different, but it helps to know what you should expect. And these types of videos really helped me before I started nursing school. So I hope that this helps you. To my right is my laptop just with some notes, so I make sure that I stay on track. So basically, my first semester consisted of 5 classes, 18 credits. For myself, I have to take extra classes because I got my undergrad in biology at Grand Canyon University, and they did not have certain liberal arts requirements to get that pre-med biology degree. And now where I'm at in Georgia, we do need certain liberal arts courses for the BSN, and we need history, government, different classes like that. So on top of my accelerated nursing program, I have to take an extra 5 classes in order to graduate on time. They did give like a recommendation of like staying an extra semester and getting my BSN, but I was like, I want to get in and out. So I am taking the classes on top of my already accelerated course. So the accelerated course had 4 classes, pathophysiology, health assessment, holistic, which is also known as fundamentals, but we call it holistic for some reason, and the nursing research and evidence. And then I had to take dance and society for an arts course that is required to get the BSN in Georgia. So first, the dance and society class, that was pretty simple. It was basically DQs, discussion questions, responses, quizzes, writing assignments I had to do, but those were easy as well. Passed with flying colors with an A in that class, no issues at all. So nursing and research evidence was also an online class. This class was not too bad, but there were some points where I was like, oh, this class can be kind of tough. Like the exams were a little bit tough. There were 2 exams, one midterm and one final, and they were just a little bit tough because you could not Quizlet these exams. These exams were written like for this course, so they weren't questions that have been written before, I could tell, but it wasn't all that bad. And then the other portion of the class was a group paper, like a group research paper, like a research paper you would find on your PubMed, your NIH, like with graphs and all these different matrices and different stuff like that. So it was a very, very big paper that we had to assemble over time. So it was a big group assignment, which was, I'm not gonna lie, it was difficult to stay on top of the other courses because we didn't always meet up in person as a group. Sometimes we had to do video calls and voice calls and stuff like that. But we got it done. Yeah, so that was nursing and research evidence. And then like to the nitty gritty classes, pathophysiology. Pathophysiology was, I really liked pathophysiology. I've taken it before in my undergrad, but it wasn't nursing pathophysiology, so they didn't accept that course. And also, as I was taking the course, I realized that there were actually a lot of topics and different details that I didn't learn before. So learning the new things in this course was actually very helpful. I got some more knowledge, but I will say that my previous experience with pathophysiology definitely helped. My exam grades were literally amazing. First exam, I got a 92. Second exam, I got a 98. Final exam, I got a 95. So patho is my jam. I really think even if I hadn't taken patho before, I really think I would have still done well because my mind really clicks with patho and I actually enjoy it. When you enjoy a subject, it makes it much easier to learn. You don't have to like pull yourself to study for it. For patho, I really tried to stick to the PowerPoints. I didn't go so much into extra resources because I found that like when I was watching videos, yes, they were really helpful, but the videos were giving a super broad, like generalized or more, not generalized, but more details than we needed. So it was giving us everything about disease or process that we didn't really go in depth in class. So it could confuse me because if I was focusing on details that were in the video that the professor didn't even really talk about, the professor is making the question. So you really have to go with what the professor is saying. I just focus on PowerPoints. I think I went to the book maybe once or twice. The book is so detailed, and our exams were honestly fairly simple. After I walked out the first exam, I was like, wow, I studied things that I really didn't need to study. And that's why my exam scores actually went up, because I realized how they were testing us and what they wanted us to know. So PowerPoints, our professors gave us case studies to practice. We did case studies in class, and then we could do them outside of class. And then also they gave us question of the days. So we got question of the days like Monday through Friday, and you could answer them daily if you wanted to, or just wait till a time where you wanted to do a bunch. I usually waited until there was like 5 to 10 questions on there. The last exam I waited till the exam time to do all of them together. And then those really helped because the instructors gave a response back to the question of the days, like really in depth. So really use the resources that they give you in terms of questions, because if they're giving you questions, that means that that's what they're going to test you on. So the next course, health assessment. Me and health assessment were chilling, honestly, the whole semester. Yeah, we were chilling. Once I saw the first exam, I was like, this is not even that hard. Like, girl, just study the PowerPoints. Literally, it was study the PowerPoints. If you look at the PowerPoints and you know everything on the PowerPoints, you're going to get the exam perfectly fine. And with health assessment, there was a lab. Lab is very important. Lab was honestly very exciting for me. I felt like health assessment lab was me learning how to start becoming a nurse and thinking like a nurse, because we were learning how to assess different parts of the body. And when I watch my different shows, like I think y'all saw in a video that I was watching The Resident. I'm still finishing up The Resident. I'm on the last season, a couple more episodes to go. But I realized on The Resident, like when a patient comes in, it's almost like they know what to start assessing for. And I feel like health assessment was helping me learn how to assess body systems. And then eventually, as I grow as a nurse, I'm going to learn what I need to assess in certain moments and what things I don't need to focus on. So health assessment was really exciting for me. I think that health assessment, you're going to get out of it what you put in. So if you do the bare minimum with health assessment, you're going to learn the bare minimum. So I would say really take the time in lab to do as much as you can, because these are things that you're going to need to use. And I did use in clinicals. I used health assessment in clinical for sure, because we had to assess patients. We had to do like basic head to toe assessments. And this class was very, very helpful. So try to utilize your lab, ask questions, talk to professors. The last class is holistic fundamentals. I did holistic was a tricky class. I'm not gonna hold y'all. It was tricky. Those select all that applies. I had select all that applies in all of my classes, but the ones in holistic were the most tricky questions I've ever seen in my life, because holistic will literally have 4 answers that are correct. 4, or if it's select all that apply, there's going to be 6 options there. So many of them are going to feel like they're right, but you have to pick the ones that are the most right. And that's what's so annoying, because it can be one word, or even some questions are kind of clinical judgment questions. Holistic's tricky. Holistic, you have to study the PowerPoints, but you also need to do lots and lots of practice questions. Even if I didn't read the whole chapter, go to the questions, because the questions and the rationales is what's going to get your mind into nursing clinical judgment. And so with holistic fundamentals, we call it holistic once again, clinicals was connected to this class. Clinical was a very good experience for me. I'm not gonna lie. My first clinical was a great experience. My instructor was amazing, very, very kind. She was very proactive, like she was very active and like present with our learning. She didn't just throw us out there and pair us up with nurses to tell us what to do, which I really liked. She told us, like, I feel like since this is your first clinical experience, you need to be with me and I need to be with you guys to see how you guys are doing. And I don't just want to throw you on to a nurse to just have them telling you what to do and you don't know how to do certain things. So I really felt prepared, comfortable, and kind of like eased into the process, which was really nice. She gave us a lot of opportunities to do amazing things. We got to do med passes. I got to do sub-Q injection, intramuscular injection, IV pushes. What else did I do? I got to take out a Foley catheter. I did blood sugar checks, blood pressure checks, all of them, like all the different checks, vitals, so many different things. And then of course, head to toe assessments. I got to listen to a really good systolic murmur that really helped me with my learning, you know? So we got to do a lot of things. With clinical, you get out of it what you put in as well. She told us, like, if you're out hiding in the bathroom and we get a catheter to put in or to take out and you're not there, that's your loss. So you really have to be present. There were some downtimes. It did feel like kind of boring at sometimes because there wasn't much to do, but you need to just stay present, ask questions of your clinical instructor. So that was all of my classes. If you have any questions about my classes, ask a question in the comment. Please leave a comment down below. Ask the question. I'm going to be doing a Q&A soon as well. So I might be able to answer in the comment section, or I can add it to my Q&A that I'm going to be filming here soon and uploading for you guys. Me sharing my grades is not to brag at all. It's just like when I started this channel, it was really to show people my experience in nursing school as a mother, someone who's working part-time, doing nursing school all together. So I really want to encourage other people that you can do it if you put your heart into it. But here are my grades. I am a 4.0 student currently. I got all A's in all of my classes by the grace of God, because I'm literally like, how am I doing this? 4.0, 5 A's for my first semester. Now that I've done it one semester, I feel like I have to keep it up. So we're gonna see if we continue on this track of being a 4.0 student. We're gonna see. But again, I don't tell you guys this to brag. It's just to show you that you can do it. B's are great, C's are great, pass. Do what you need to do to get this nursing degree. But if you want to strive for A's, you can do that too. You can do it too, it's okay. I had holistic from 8 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. This consisted of 2 lectures, 1 lecture, break, lecture. So holistic, we had 2 lectures each class. Also on Monday, we had health assessment from 1 p.m. to 2:45 p.m. So I have like an hour and a half break in between because we often got out of holistic early. So yeah, health assessment was right after. Tuesday, I had pathophysiology from 2 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. So typically I would study the first half of the day on Tuesday, or I was going to the gym in the beginning of the semester, but then my gym schedule started changing. But yeah, so Tuesday I could have like half the day to study if I wanted to. Wednesdays, I had health assessment lab from 9 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Yes, 9 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Health assessment lab. Thursday, I did not have class at all. And then Friday, I had clinical from 7 a.m. until about 12:30, 1-ish p.m. So I had Thursdays off, and then Saturday, Sundays off. Also my work schedule. So Mondays and Wednesdays, I would babysit in the evenings, and I didn't really study much there. Every once in a while, I could look over notes if the kids are occupied. And then Thursday and Friday, I worked at the gym. I can study at the gym if the kid count is, if there's no kids or if it's very low and they're all occupied as well. My first tip, start off the semester strong. Over the course of the semester, this is gonna be your energy level. Energy's going down. It's a steady slope. Burnout is real. Burnout was real for me. When we hit spring break in March, I was halfway clocked out, y'all. it was hard. I was watching my show, The Resident. I was not studying. I was getting on Netflix, watching shows. I was just really just being very lackadaisical, if we're going to be quite honest. The burnout gets real. But what saved me was that I started off super strong in the beginning, had amazing grades, all the homework assignments and on time, of course. And just the exam grades were pretty well in the beginning, so that even though I was experiencing a little bit of burnout towards the end, I was able to counterbalance. There were a lot of people that were not doing great in the beginning, and once they got to the end, they were like, I need this to even get a C. I need this to get a B. I need this grade. And for me, that wasn't the case because I had done so well in the beginning. And I think a lot of people were trying to kick it into gear at the end, but they were already so tired and burnt out. So really start off strong in the beginning so that in the end, if you do start experiencing burnout, you have a buffer. So my second tip is learn your study strategy and stick to it throughout the semester. You need to learn how you're going to study for really starting at your first exam. Learn how you're going to study and then try and stick to it. If it works, stick to it. If it doesn't work, you're going to need to improve. Don't stick to what you're doing if it's not working. But for me, I will do a more in-depth video of how I study as well. And honestly, I might do a video of different ways I study because each class is different. And then also for the first semester, I studied one way, but for the semester I'm going into next, I'm going to be studying a little bit differently because of the way that our semester is super condensed. And I don't think I'm going to have time to study the way I was before effectively. So, but I will tell you guys, the way I was studying for first semester, like I said, I was predominantly using PowerPoints, and I was condensing the PowerPoints into typed notes and making like a study guide for the exam. And my typed notes for the exam, for one exam that was over like 4 or 5 lectures, say for instance, health assessment, it's probably like 4 or 5 lectures. I probably would have about 5 to 6 pages for exam notes, and I would read through that, do active recall with that. But like I said, I might be switching my study strategy up a little bit, but basically stick to your study strategy. And yeah, it needs to be effective. You need to be doing practice questions, and you need to make sure you're staying on top of your studying because when those exams roll around, it can get difficult. Also for me, I know some people study well in groups. I do not study well in groups. I would say I'm a pretty fast learner in some ways. And I also, when I took my first exams, I really knew how the next exams were going to be based on those exams. So my mind was like, okay, I know how they're testing me, so I know how to study and what to focus on. And also, I pay attention to what the professor stresses in class, and I study that. I find that in study groups, some people really do not know how to study, to be quite honest. And then some people, they go into the details too much, and it confuses everyone. I don't like that. Also, I'm just super busy and I don't have time to like stay on campus. I need to come home, get my daughter, and I have to study during times that work for me. So learn your study strategy. Don't feel pressured to study in groups. Tip number 3, time management and prioritization. You need to learn time management very fast. You need to learn how to plan. I use Google Calendar and my planner, and you need to learn how to prioritize your time wisely. Something I've learned that I'm really good at this semester is I know how to prioritize because I have 1,000,001 things to do as it pertains to my daughter, me, work, school, church. I have 1,000,000 things I'm doing all the time. But I always told myself, this is something I learned actually at my job from my teacher. He told me, everything can be fixed and everything will get done. Because backstory, it was like a super messy day in the playground. Dirt, mud, everywhere. Everyone's shoes were muddy. Kids pooped in their pants. Potty trainers had accidents. It was just a hot mess. Hot mess. And she literally just looked at me. She was like, everything can be fixed. Everything's going to get done. And that stuck with me. That has stuck with me like for years at this point now. So that is something that I always remember in times that it gets really, really busy or really stressful. I learned how to prioritize. If I have 10 things on my to-do list and I have 3 assignments due on Sunday and it's Wednesday, I have to learn, what do I need to do right now? What do I need to do today? What do I need to do tomorrow? What am I going to do the next day? Everything doesn't need to get done today. You have to learn to, if something doesn't need to get done today, don't stress about it today. You have to learn how to clear it from your mind. And just remember, everything will get done. Everything can be fixed. That's what I do. I make to-do lists for the day. 3 to 5 things is 5 things is like the max things people typically get done on their to-do list. You know, I sometimes write too long of to-do lists and don't get half of it done. But if you do 3 to 5 things on your to-do list and get it done, then you are good. So yeah, just learn how to organize your life in a way that is not going to create lots of stress. You need to plan in times for fun, plan in times for work. So for instance, my daughter's birthday weekend, I had an exam the following week. Well, no, her birthday was April 20th. So finals were coming up. I had finals coming up. But I told myself, it's my daughter's birthday. We're not studying today. It's Saturday. I'm not studying at all Saturday. But you know what I am going to do on Sunday? I'm going to study for 2 to 3 hours on Sunday. So you really have to know how to push all the work aside for one day. Next day, get into gear. And the next day, if you need to push it aside again, push it aside. And the next day, get back into gear. You have to know how to turn it off, turn it on. You can't, if you blend everything together, it's going to be stressful because you're always going to be in go mode and nursing school mode, and that's not fun. I really have learned how to compartmentalize sections of my life. When I'm at church, I'm focused on church. I'm focused on dancing. I'm focused on church. And then I go home. If I need to study a little bit when I go home, I do. A lot of times after church, I do not study at all. And then the next day I go to class and my mind is focused on class. And then when I get home to pick up my daughter, my mind is focused on my daughter. You have to learn how to compartmentalize. And my last and final tip that helped me in my first semester of nursing school and that I know will help me from here on out is honestly just a positive mindset. I have people tell me all the time that, girl, you smile all the time. Like, you make nursing school look, pretty easy and pretty chill. And honestly, it's God. It's really, really God. When I started nursing school and when I chose the school that I chose, I knew that this was picked and destined by God and that this was a blessing that was brought into my life. When you look at things from a perspective of a blessing over something that is just hindering you and holding you back and causing you lots of stress, then it makes it easier to look at it in a more positive way. And no, this is not saying that there are not days where I don't feel stressed or overwhelmed. This is just saying that I don't complain excessively. I just don't complain excessively because I know that this is a blessing from God. And if I spend too much time complaining, I take time away from learning and studying and just enjoying the process in general. I see study groups get together and they sit there for 20, 30 minutes complaining about how much assignments we have to do, how difficult the exam was, or how difficult they think it's going to be. And when you think about it, those are times that they could have simply just been studying. So I just divert my attention to studying. I don't have the time to sit down and complain for a lot of time because I just have so much I do in my life, honestly. So again, this is not to say that I don't ever feel stressed. This is to say, okay, you can feel stressed for 1 minute. You can feel stressed for 2 minutes. But after 2 minutes, you're going to get up and you're going to do what you need to do because it needs to get done. So that's what I do. Positive mindset. Stay positive. Yeah, stay positive. So this is the end of the video. I hope you guys learned something and that this was very helpful. Maybe you are an incoming nursing student and you want to know what the first semester is like. This is what it's like. Yeah, it's nothing that you cannot do because people have done it before. You really just have to focus, put your mind to it, and stay on top of everything. Stay on top of everything. Really do your best to absorb a lot of information and try and work very hard so that you can become an amazing nurse for your future patients. But yeah, this is the end of my video. Thank you for watching. I hope that you come back and you watch more. Bye.